Hi, boys and girls. We're going to start off today and we're going to talk about the characteristics of a good research source. In order to determine whether a source is good, we need to know, is it reliable? Is it trustworthy or dependable? Is it current, meaning up to date or recently written? And third, is it accurate? Is it correct without mistakes? Is it telling facts? In order for us to determine whether a source is reliable, current, and accurate, we need to evaluate the source itself and really think about it. So we're going to ask ourselves some questions in order to see if it is reliable, current, and accurate. The first is reliable. I will know it's reliable if I know who the author of the page is. If it tells me who the author or of the, it could be the organization. If it tells what organization, could be an author as well. And is the author an expert? If the source is a zoo, the author is most likely going to be an expert because people who work at the zoo know animals well. And how do you know? If it lists the name of a person, a lot of times it might tell you PhD, meaning they have a doctorate. It might tell you information about the author. So we want to think about that as well. Do they have the background or do they have the education to make themselves the expert? Also, looking at the web address. We want to know, is the information from the site trustworthy? Is it a good place to go? And how do I know? The next question we're going to ask ourselves is it current? So we want to know, when was the information written? If it tells us the date on it, and also the year especially. And then, do the links from the site work? Sometimes if we click on a link, it might say page not found. This would mean the page is not current because it's not up to date. And the last question we want to ask ourselves is it accurate? Are there sources listed for the information on the page? Meaning, even if the author thinks they're the expert, they still went to another source to get information. And what are they? Did they go to somewhere like a website, or did they go to a research journal, for example? And last, can you find other sources with the same information? When I compare information in two different places, if they're both accurate, they should both be saying the same thing. You might not be able to find 100% the answers to these questions, but you should be able to answer most of them for a website source. So let's try looking at one right now. So here I have my Understanding Search Results page. What you're going to do is you're going to be looking more at these websites that you have right here. So let's start with the first one. Notice how all the links I have are in blue. If for some reason you do not have one that's in blue, there are a couple things you could do. If you're going to look at it, I can highlight the information. I can right click and say copy, and then I can paste that in to my URL. I can make a new tab and right in my search bar, I can say paste and go, and it will take me directly to that link. Okay, so here I have the San Diego Zoo, and it's talking about animals. So I want to ask myself the question. So is it reliable? Meaning, who is the author? So I'm going to go down and see, without reading right now the information, I'm going to be looking if I can find the author. Now, right here, I see the San Diego Zoo, so I know that the San Diego Zoo is going to be the one who has written this, okay? And it says it in many locations, so that's how I know who the author is. Is it current? Down here at the bottom, at the very bottom of the page, you'll see a copyright, or a C with a circle around it. And that says 2015. If your website is current, it should say the current year. For example, we're in 2015, so it should say that. And I want to see, do other sites work that I go to? For example, if I go click next door to Fun Facts, if I click on it, that should work, okay? If I go at the zoo, different things like that, those should work. So these are all working, so it's looking like that is good. And is it accurate? So what I want to do is I want to look at information, and I want to make sure that the information I see here is the same which I see other places. So for example, I might look in the quick facts, okay, and talking about, here I find out some lifespan, it usually lives that long, okay. So I'm going to use this information and look at another source to see if it's accurate. All right, let's go back to our Google Doc, and here I have some other information. Okay, this one is in blue, so what I can do is click on it, and then I can press it, what is in blue, and I click, and it will lead me right there. Okay, so let's do an evaluation of this one right here. So, is it reliable? Who is the author? Okay, so I see information about koalas. So far I don't see any authors. I'm gonna go down, down, down. Don't see any yet. Okay, so this is talking about, here's some links. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. This is talking about an I. I don't see who I is. Okay, so I don't see where anyone's names. Maybe if I go to the main page, I might find. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I'm having a hard time finding, and that's what I wanted to show you on this one, is that it's a little bit difficult to find the author on that one. If we really are finding something that is reliable, we want to be able to find the name of the person or the organization well. Even though this person says they visited all these places, we might be able to trust the information, maybe not. Is it current? Let's look at the bottom. It says 2000 to 2009. We're in 2015, so I'm thinking that this is not current, because that means that it has been quite a few years without them looking at it. And is it accurate? So we can see, does it have, is it accurate? Is it the information correct? So, for example, it's telling us like a mammal, like we just saw in the San Diego Zoo. It does say it's bear-like we saw, and it's about 9 kilograms in weight. So I can cross-check it, and I see that it can be 9 or around 9 kilograms. So it is a little on the high end, whereas the San Diego Zoo gives me a range. We can have 4 to 8.5 kilograms. So I almost wonder if this one on the thekoala.com is not the best resource. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to remove this link. It is not, delete it. And it is just not the best source. I really want to make sure that I have reliable and current information. This one about the San Diego Zoo was accurate, so I'm going to leave it there. And it was reliable and it was current. The last thing I want to show you is a Wikipedia. Now, a wiki is a place where when many people can go and they can put in information. So if you look at the top right here, you can read about it. And 4 to 15 kilograms, okay, that's kind of what we saw before. But I don't see any author. If I go up to the top, there's an edit. What you can do is people can actually go in and offer information. Now, with how many people there are in the world and how many people like to contribute to wikis, most likely the information is accurate, or if someone puts something that is incorrect, someone else will correct it. But what we want to do is we want to find the best resources, and this isn't the best resource. A lot of times too, Wikipedia does not have language that is right for us as students. So let's find resources that are just right for us as students. So boys and girls, you can go ahead, start to go through your websites and find the best sources. At the end of class, you're going to be finding or telling me which source was the best and why it was good. So be thinking about how you can explain why the source you found was a good one. So you may go ahead and go.